In the summer of garrulous aardvark, General the Count Gudarian leads his army back into Balahaven, despite the remarkable heat. The Stilwanese revolutionary government flees the capital in their last remaining galleon, now rechristened the Liberty. All of Stilwan is now occupied by Maustrian, though a lone fort still waves the flag of revolution. Crimsonia and Manarth announce that in response to Maustrian aggression that they are declaring war. The second coalition has formed, and the combined fleet rallies around the Liberty at the mouth of the Long Sea. The Maustrians send Lord Flavisham into Ardoin with a large army, but the Crimsonians do not attack. In the west, Baron Verpelt is raising a new army, ready to oppose Tiplef Nazin if they attack. 2/3 of the Maustrian army is in Stilwan, and will take months to redeploy to the frontiers. In the northeast, Trentus, Zuren, and West Thueba have announced the formation of a mutual defence league. The three nations promise to stand together if attacked. In autumn, the Crimsonian Expeditionary Force enters Adun from the east under Citizen General Acorn, as Lord Flavisham leads the Maustrians out to the south. Adon is strongly held by a network of powerful forts, and Flavisham declines open battle. Most of the Maustrian army is still in Stilwan, with Gudarian marching north, leaving behind 7 brigades to subdue the last Stilwanese fort and occupy the provinces. Admiral von Rattus patrols the Straits of Berderich as newly launched frigates swell the Maustrian fleet. Admiral Destrin, heir to the throne of Manarth, commanding the coalition fleet, gives the order to sail up the Long Sea and engage von Rattus. Their goal? To destroy the Maustrian fleet and open the way for a liberating invasion of Stilwan. The battle is intense, with both sides beating north to gain the wind gauge. But Destrin orders his divisions to engage the Maustrian frigates, leaving von Rattus to the north and only firing at long range. The Maustrians turn and engage the coalition's centre division, following the Stilwanese Liberty. The Liberty is fired on heavily, begins to list, and quickly sinks. The coalition battle line returns fire, and the Maustrian frigates are cut to pieces. The battle becomes confused, with each division engaging their opponents. The coalition galleons are well captained, and the Maustrian frigates are outgunned and fragile in the swirling close-range fight. At a key point in the battle, von Rattus's flagship, the Duty, is raked by effective fire and explodes. The ship is lost with all hands, including the admiral. The surviving Maustrian ships disengage, pursued by the Crimsonians. The Maustrians have lost 1 galleon and 8 frigates. The coalition have lost the Liberty, the Manarth galleon Port Harabi, and the Crimsonian galleon Appenzell. 3 frigates have also been lost. Admiral Destrin and the coalition fleet control the Long Sea. But for how long? In the west, the Ka'an of Tiplef Nazin has declared war on Maustria, and Prince Stepka, Marshal of Horse, leads the army to engage the Maustrians under Baron Verpelt near the city of Hurtenkäse. The Maustrians are outnumbered, particularly in cavalry. Stepka moves forwards, his light cavalry encircling on both flanks. Verpelt sends all of his cavalry to his right, and deploys infantry in squares to guard his left. The armies meet about a small hill, with Maustrian guns arriving first. Stepka attacks on his left, while the light cavalry works its way into the enemy rear. Some brave Maustrian cavalry succeed on the right, while the Tiplef Nazin cavalry break a Maustrian square and threaten Verpelt's rear. The Baron is forced to withdraw units from the front and turn his guns to drive off the enemy cavalry. Stepka orders a number of infantry charges, leading one himself, and the Maustrian line begins to break. But in the rear, the light cavalry are engaged by Maustrian guns and returning squadrons, while the lone heavy cavalry unit on the field makes a glorious charge into the Tiplef Nazin left, overrunning a unit of light infantry, a guards regiment, and a unit of the line. This charge alone has saved Verpelt's army, and Stepka is forced to retreat across the frontier as his army is exhausted. Beyond these battles, there is also trouble in the north. Trentus has demanded that Dunbarra surrender and join their nation on a trumped-up charge of piracy. Dunbarra angrily refused, promised to fight to the last mouse, and threatened to blockade Trentish trade. The Trentish army has entered Dunbarra and encountered the Border force. Dunbarra has called for aid from Maustria and Ublico, but both nations have refused, claiming prior commitments. In a close recreation of the past, the army of West Luiba has crossed the border into Zuren, heading for the frontier with Maustrian. Zuren has welcomed these forces and moved their own army into the Hoanida, a region bordering Adorn. All of Maus Ropa is on the march as winter draws near.